The stars shine brightest in Cleveland.
The Cleveland WPSL Women's Pro Soccer team has a name, and that is the Cleveland Astra. I'm so excited to talk about this and how it ties into Cleveland and one of my favorite things, space. It's a very cool name, very unique. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, give us a call, leave us a voicemail, tell us what you think. 216-260-3433. Noah, both team names are officially released, and honestly, they knocked it out of the park with each one of them.
Yeah, I love the split up of the two different brands that we have for pro soccer here in Cleveland. And I really just want to get into the nitty gritty and start asking Gina Prodan Kelly, co founder of the women's team, co founder of Cleveland Pro Soccer, questions about the brand and how they ended up landing on Cleveland Astra. So let's bring in Gina. Gina, how are you?
Hey, great to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you as well. Erik and I are super excited about everything that you have going on with the branding of both the soccer teams. And let's just get right into it. What landed Cleveland Astra? Because it's a unique name. It's not one that you've seen before. You could predict easily. I sure didn't predict it. I don't think Erik predicted either. But how did we land on Astra?
So it was quite a journey to get there. We actually went through a few different concepts all the way through design that were fine. And as I tell people, we had a couple that were went through focus groups, and the general consensus was this is good, but like I mean, what my feeling was is like if it's good, it's ignorable. And I didn't want, especially feeling as strongly as we did about Forest City, Cleveland. Keep in mind, we developed these a parallel, so we kind of paused Forest City until we got the women's brand to the same point. I didn't want this brand to feel secondary to the men's team. I wanted them to be equally like knock your socks off. So we after a few restarts, we did a series of interviews, and I may have touched on this before in our previous conversations, but in those conversations, we touched on what are the themes, the feelings, the words that people want their sports team to make them feel. And there was this very purposeful I don't want this to be the resilient, the gritty, that type of theme. And so we kind of started pulling at some of those threads and having deeper conversations, and ended up kind of looking up, and this idea of not wanting to bounce back but wanting to fly. And that took us to the stars. We went through a handful of elevation related themes, and then last fall when I was doing a graphic about the number of women from Northeast Ohio in the top Division I college teams, and kind of the phrase came out like, "This is the place where stars are made," and then we started, diving down that path. And the word Astra is it's Latin from Greek, which a few Greek friends, which is the responsibility of Greek people to make sure we
Fair
know those
enough.
words. But it's Latin for not just points of light in the sky, which is the word stelle, but Astra is more of like the grand sweep of the cosmos. So all of the stars, all of the like that greater sense of the heavens, and we loved that idea of it's something that we all own, but we also centered around the idea, the identity of it around the North Star, which when we started this effort, we aimed to be the North Star of soccer in Northeast Ohio. So all of those themes kind of came together around Astra.
It's my favorite part of both this and Forest City branding. There was so much thought put into each element and each piece of this. We have it on the screen now, but where you can see just the intentionality behind the branding. And I think that's so key because exactly like you're saying, like you didn't want to hit on the grit, the same old thing over and over. You now have this new brand and this new identity in Cleveland sports that I have a feeling is going to make history eventually. And it's such a cool way to do it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and there are little details like the shape of the star over Cleveland is a compass rose because again we wanted to hit on that theme of being kind of a guiding light and not just the team and kind of setting a new standard for what a team can make you feel like in Cleveland, but also what the expectation is for our fans, for the brand itself, for the people who will be on this team. That we're here to set a new standard to light the way for people who are still finding their way. And then the the fun part about this was when we identified kind of that idea of the North Star. We thought about what are the symbols that we can build around this, and we chose Ursa Major as that central symbol. So Ursa Major is the Great Bear constellation that wherever you're seeing her in the Northern Hemisphere, she's always pointing toward the North Star. So when we decided to put a bear in our crest, we got very comfortable with people saying why the bear, and it's been a fun launch having people ask that question, but also seeing fans of the team be able to explain it and speak to it and why it means something.
I was just gonna ask, like the designer in me has to ask, how you came about the colors. Like, first of all, I love the names. They're on your website, like Violet Ad Astra for that purple, Lake Erie Midnight for that like darkish bluish green, and then Golden Era for the gold. But how was the process of picking the colors for this team?
So Alex Gosher, who was our brand designer for this project, took us through a color exploration and had three primary themes. And this was the first one that he showed us. And when I saw it, I was like, this is it. This is home between the two. And what I loved about the two was that the three base colors are the same for both the men's team and the women's team, and then they both have their unique color. So Forest City has green, and this one has this periwinkle. What I liked about it was those colors drew on like the essence of the brand. Obviously, we did do an exploration where Forest City didn't have green in it, and we were like, that's it doesn't work. But with Astra, we actually had one that was like a tomato and a teal, and one that was all black and all different shades of gold. And they were drawing on different nebulae. And this is where I'm going to draw the line at my space words because I'm not a space expert. But basically looking at different naturally occurring colors in space. And this one, I think, resonated most not only visually, but just what a nebula is. And it's, a cloud formation is like basically like stars taking shape, and that just really hit. But it also looked great next to it made the two brands look great next to each other. And that's what we wanted these two to be able to sit very comfortably next to each other, but stand really strong on their own. And the combination of the colors felt really, really good.
Is that kind of what happened with like the crest of both team as well? Because I like the Ohio detail and the focus on Cleveland that they both have, of course, the Forest City branding and the Astra branding. If you haven't checked out our video when we talked to Gina too, by the way, about the Forest City video branding, I will link that at the end of this video so you can check it out. But was the crest intentional as well, of course?
Yeah, and like I said, we developed both of these in tandem. So as we developed different components of the identities, we made sure that we were cross-checking. One of the things when I actually met Alex, so his background, he was previously the creative director for Portland Thorns and Portland Timbers, and one of the things that kind of made him it for me was that he kind of had some of the reservations about the way the two brands stood next to each other that I did. And just in terms of, small details like the thickness of lines or even the colors, being able to sit next to each other. So when we went into this, we figured out what the foundational things were that we wanted to have be rooted in Cleveland. And one of the important parts to me was kind of reflecting that idea of like the golden era, like the Gilded Age of Cleveland, and kind of that Art Deco feel, because it's not just a style that I like, but I think it's a time in Cleveland's history that we really believed in ourselves, and something that I wanted to kind of hold on to as like this is the beginning of something new. So that was kind of one of the foundational elements in terms of not just the design, but like the spirit of what we were building. So every step along the way, we try to look back at that and see like, are these two brands kind of sticking together through that philosophy?
Noah and I took inspiration from that, and like last time, we put together our own kits. I want to show you, but first, a word from our sponsor. At the Office is brought to you by Rambler Reserve.
And we're wearing the hats right now.
We are wearing the hats right now, and honestly, this might be one of the best looking things I've put on my head in years.
Rambler Reserve is a Cleveland apparel brand based on history for people who love this city and just can't shut up about it.
So, us?
Us, exactly. Whether it be hats, tees, hoodies, you're going to the game, or you're going to the Muni lot. It's perfect apparel for any Cleveland fan out there.
If your friends say you ramble too much about sports, just own it. Head on over to ramblerreserve.com and use code ATO10 to get 10% off your order.
That's ATO10, ATO like at the office 10, ramblerreserve.com.
Noah and I are rocking the hats right now, so make sure you go to ramblerreserve.com, pick up some merch yourself, and look as good as us. Gina, we got to get you a hat for next time. All right, I do want to get to our kits that we put together because I had fun doing this. I took some inspiration. I love all things space. Like, if anyone knows me in my personal life, #1 favorite movie is Interstellar. All about anything space related. So that's my nerddom. So I had a lot of fun with this one. But Noah, why don't we start with yours and walk us through what you did and how you put this together?
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so this is my favorite part of doing these with Gina, right? So I want to get right into what I put together. So with the actual jersey itself, we have an all-over shooting star print to kind of tie in the star theming. We have the numbers going with the Arriva logo because I like how it's sideways on the side. I thought that was a cool way to kind of differentiate from other uniforms. I put Metro Health on there. We used Cleveland Clinic as an example last time, but there's other hospitals here in Cleveland, so maybe they want to hook Gina up over here with the sponsorship, and she could use this as some help. I used
clean logo too. So yeah, go on. Sorry.
Right.
It is clean.
Right. No, you're good. And then you put in the color of the purple that you guys have as the shorts as a pop. And then, of course, you guys liked the logos on the socks as last time, so I did it again for this one as well. And then, of course, here is Trinity Rodman rocking the actual uniform herself. I like it. I could see it on the field. Hopefully, maybe we will see it on the field. Who knows? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Let's see it on Trinity Rodman too.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Erik, why don't you dive into yours, buddy?
Yeah, so I definitely leaned into the space theme, like I was saying. So what I did here is I took an actual picture from the Hubble Space Telescope. This is a Crab Nebula. So that's when a star explodes, which I thought was on theme because I think we're going to have a lot of stars exploding in Cleveland with this team. And obviously it fits the colors and the branding there. And then I used Swagelok as the sponsor. They helped work on the Orion capsule as part of the Artemis program. I thought that was really cool tie-in with the space theme. And obviously they're a major employer here in Cleveland. I don't know how they'll feel about me turning their logo gold like that, but whatever, they can get over that. And then, of course, I used one of my favorite players, Rose Lavelle, for my mock-up. But leaning into the space theme, I think you can have so much fun with these kits. And I think Noah and I did that both. We had the same idea like we did last time.
You guys, you did it again. I love both of these. I am curious to know what you think about glow in the dark.
Glow in the
Be
dark.
cool.
I feel like, you know, like a kit that like, you know, like either one of yours that has like glow in the dark details. That would be I feel like
I would love that.
we have to do some like glow in the dark stars. And I feel like what I'd love everybody to start thinking about is like what are those little details that like we can lean into during like game day. And somebody said, you know, that we should start all of our night games with everyone's like cell phone flashlights on and things like that, and be a few thousand little stars. So great job. I love this, and I really appreciate that you are again setting me up for some really great pitches for kit sponsorship.
That was the goal with mine, especially with Metro Health. Don't they have a new maternal health? So maybe that's a good play for them too that you could use. You never know, right?
Yeah, that was I really would love over the next few years to build great relationships with our local hospitals, because I made onesies that we haven't released yet that say "A Star Is Born," and it's in like the Astra font, and I thought it would be a cool thing to be able to give you know or newborns on their way out of the hospital, and as being born here. So we'll
That
see.
is
As
cool.
part of my pitches to all of the the healthcare systems in Northeast Ohio, I feel like there are some really neat ways just make everyone feel like they're part of this greater community, and that they're born into being a star here.
I am so excited. There are a couple events coming up, if I'm not mistaken, some watch parties. Obviously, the World Cup is here really soon. I can't even believe that. I feel like we were talking about this years ago. But tell us about the events happening around Astra in regards to the World Cup.
So, Cleveland Soccer Group as a whole is actually rolling out a campaign this week called Summer of Soccer. And it's a series of events just to get everyone together and get warmed up to supporting soccer around Northeast Ohio. It really kicks off on June 6th. We'll have a pregame party at North Coast Yard before the Egypt and Brazil game. Whether or not you have tickets, you can come and kick around, just hang out and see other people who are soccer fans. But our big event to kick off the summer is June 12th at North Coast Yard. We'll have a watch party for the U.S. men's national team, their first game in the World Cup against Paraguay. And that will have a big screen and food trucks, and we'll have activations from our partners. And then also mark your calendars for July 19th. We'll have a watch party in downtown Cleveland for the finals. We will also have a passport program where you'll get a little passport and get stamps when you go to local soccer matches, come to any of our events, or even do free soccer. And you'll get prizes along the way, including a really big grand prize at the end that will include kits like these as a big prize to give away.
I can't wait for everything that's coming out and everything that's going to come in the near future. Are there any other updates you want to come about, the start of soccer happening here in Cleveland, people actually being able to go to matches and do the damn thing?
That's and that's what we're kind of getting everyone in the habit of looking out for soccer. We'll have our kickout tournament again in August. We'll have a regional qualifier in different communities, and then we'll have the final downtown. And then that'll be August, and we'll begin our 1-year march toward the first match in August of 2027 for City Cleveland.
I know, I can't wait. I'm sure I'll have Noah into soccer by that time, finally. I think this is the summer. Now that the World Cup is here, we're going to come to some of those watch parties for sure.
Great.
Yeah, I can't wait. I even wore a soccer shirt for you today. This is my first
proud of
soccer
you.
shirt.
Well,
Thank you.
you're
Thank
gonna
We're all
kiss
so
me.
proud.
you. Gina,
Gina,
anything else you got to say to the people?
I really appreciate being able to talk about this, and being able to share the journey step by step and having everybody be part of it. So thank you for continuing to help be part of this and lift it together.
thank you so much for coming on. We always enjoy having you, and I can't wait till these kits are released for both teams. I'll stop wearing Chelsea gear and actually wear those when you're on, which would probably be great for you, I'm sure. But I really can't wait. Like, I'm so excited to have another Cleveland teams that we can represent.
I agree 100%.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Gina. Thank you for coming on. Erik, another great sit down conversation and interview with Gina. I am really excited for everything Cleveland Pro Soccer has coming up for us as sports fans here in the city.
Yeah, Gina and I were talking off air a little bit about how easy it is to miss the mark on some of these branding pieces, right?
Yep.
Like, we could have heard a name and said, I don't like that at all. And they absolutely knocked it out of the park with both teams. Like, I'm so happy I won a rep gear for those teams. We
Same.
didn't get any of the, in my opinion, I haven't heard any of the kind of drawback that you heard when the guards initially released their branding, which, I think a lot of people love it now. But they absolutely killed it. And I don't know, it gets me so excited.
Yeah, and I think about the Astra too, right? Like I think of a lot of the female sports fans I have in my own life and, whether that's friends, family, relationships, whatever. Everybody loves the branding of Astra because it kind of plays in a right way to the people that they represent in the female population. So to me, I love the branding because the people that it represents also love the branding, and gold and purple also just go great together. So I love that too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you make a really good point there. Like, it's something to be said, especially in Cleveland, where we live and die by our sports teams. There's something to be said about being able to watch yourself, as a little girl, go out and play professional sports. And we haven't really had that in the city for a very long time. Obviously, the W's coming back as well. That team name to be revealed, possibly Rockers. I don't know. I think they have to buy it back actually if they want to do that.
It should
But
be
to
this
be
summer
able
though that they reveal that, so it'll be exciting.
but to be able to see yourself in those shoes, and put yourself in those shoes and be able to dream like, hey, I can do that when I grow up is so important. And that's what gets me so excited for a lot of these initiatives with the women's game. So I know you and I will be here rooting for it, watching it, celebrating together. And yeah, I hope Gina is working quickly on those kits because frankly, I want some.
Yeah, I need to spend some money too, my friend. I cannot wait for both brands, for both teams to take the pitch come next year.
All right. On that note, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.